You had said you'd be improving their utility bills by between 5 and 7% back a couple of months ago. How is the outlook for that? This, of course, all thanks to corporate tax cuts.
Well, listen, I think the whole energy complex is something that's strategically important to the United States. And I think, frankly, this administration and Congress has done a lot to move us in the right direction. That is to become a major worldwide economic player in energy. It's one of the ways that the United States can play offense in a worldwide economy. And they've done lots of things from a regulatory policy and a fiscal policy to make that a reality.
Can you specify some of those that in particular are helping your customers? So which regulations have been rolled back that have benefited Southern Company?
Well, I think the United States government, Congress, administration has shown a tremendous amount of support to continuing an investment in nuclear development. You know, Plant Vogtle 3 and 4 is the last project available in the United States to continue on nuclear. That's a big deal. And we're going to be able, we believe, even with the challenges we face, a Westinghouse bankruptcy, unstable financials at Toshiba, to be able to bring that project in cheaper from a rate impact standpoint to our customers than what was originally thought we would do. So that's terrific news. Well, the other thing we continue to make, I think, great progress on is in the renewable space, in the whole technology innovation, changing the business model and changing the kind of technology that will bring electricity to bear for our customers in a clean, safe, reliable manner.
Well, you're about the only utility CEO in the country that backs nuclear these days. After this project is completed, will you be looking for other nuclear opportunities?
Well, if I heard the question correctly, we think we're in great shape to continue here. I think one of the other big challenges the United States faces, particularly in different parts of the United States from the Southeast, where they have what they call organized markets, is keeping those very valuable plants alive, valuing the long-term capacity with no carbon emissions, and figuring out a way to, make those economically viable. In terms of new nuclear beyond Plant Vogtle 3 and 4, I think it's going to be a challenge. I think we still will look forward to, perhaps in the 2030s, continued innovation in the nuclear space to make it even cleaner and safer.
You've also talked about restoring your financial credibility. Now, your stock price is definitely improving, and it's been a lot worse. So from that point of view, you're doing pretty well. But how else do you plan on improving your financial integrity?
Well, I think there's a whole broad range. And if you look long term, which is what we're all about, I think to the extent you see in our stock price nuclear construction risk, hopefully we'll wrap that up in the beginning of the next decade, so kind of 21, 22. But, and so there will probably be some perception of a discount. But beyond that, I think long term, what this company is doing is unlike anyone else in the industry in a significant way. And that is thinking about this venerable 100-year-old model of making, moving, and selling electricity up to a meter. Because technology is enabling it, because customers are requiring it, particularly in this digital age, we're taking that make, move, sell model and obviating the meter, putting distributed infrastructure on the premises of the customer. We're leading that charge, trying to invent that future with a company called PowerSecure. And we've had great success so far. But it's a very challenging time. It's essentially creative destruction. But I think it enables us a way to play offense in this changing future that enables us to have the most amount of influence positively, first for customers, secondly for shareholders, in inventing that future.
I do want to ask about one of the agencies that you have involvement with, and that's the EPA. There's been a lot of talk recently that potentially Scott Pruett might not be heading up the EPA in the nearer term. What do you make of that, and how would it affect you?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
The idea that Scott Pruett potentially might potentially his time at the EPA may not be as long as he had hoped for. What do you make of that talk, and how would it affect you?
I'm not getting your question. I'm sorry.
How long does Scott Pruett have at the Environmental Protection Agency?
Okay. Look, how will Environmental Protection Agency regulatory policy impact us going forward? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay. Here's the issue. My sense is that the Clean Power Plan under the prior administration was essentially a regulatory overreach. And those issues, while they may be very valid, and in fact I'm a big-time supporter of dealing with carbon, and this year Southern Company, for the first time in our history, is making a commitment to a low to no carbon future. And in fact, the path we're taking would have surpassed what the Clean Power Plan would have done. What regulatory policy should do is essentially manage the laws that are in place, not create new law or new policy. What I think Administrator Pruett has tried to do is to put EPA back in the place of being an effective regulator. And they have been a tough, effective regulator over time. And my sense is that will continue. What we've got to have is a balance between what is regulation and what is law. And if we need to advance the law, let's work in Congress to do that.